The story starts in a hospital where our MC is playing games, but he is bored of every game. Then he finds a game called Dungeon and Stone on a forum. It's a 2D pixelated game, which he doesn't usually play, but since it's free and he's bored, he decides to give it a try. It's a rogue-type game where if you die, you have to start over from the beginning. Without noticing, he plays it for hours and becomes addicted. He plays it everywhere he goes for 9 years. Finally, after 9 years, he reaches the final boss room. After opening it, he receives a notification that the tutorial is complete. Suddenly, a light emanates from the screen, and he is sucked into the game world. He opens his eyes and finds himself as a barbarian, standing in the coming-of-age ceremony where barbarians choose their first weapon before entering the dungeon. He is shocked and wonders what is happening. Suddenly, a barbarian near him shouts, "It's the game! It's Dungeon and Stone!" After hearing that, the barbarian chief arrives and asks who shouted. The MC points towards the player in fear. The chief approaches the player and chopped his head off and announces that he was possessed by an evil spirit. Realizing that if he stands out, he will die, the MC faces a problem. He doesn't know his name. If he doesn't go when called, he will die. He starts to think of an idea and comes up with a plan. If someone else doesn't respond within 2 seconds, he will act. After some time, a name is called and no one responds. So he goes up on the stage and luckily he gets it right. It was his name. Finally, he discovers his name is Andal's son, Bjorn. With his years of experience playing the game, he chooses a shield as his first weapon because it offers the most survivability. After everyone chooses their weapons, they select their leader, Venom's third son, to guide them towards the dungeon. Because everyone that have gone through coming-of-age ceremony will enter the dungeon. However, after some time they get lost on their way. They decide to choose another leader, Feneline's second daughter Aner, but even she gets lost. Seeing their intelligence, the MC decided to help them and suggests her that they should follow other species to reach the dungeon gate. Aner likes his idea, and they start following other creatures until they finally reach the dungeon gate. However, upon reaching the gate, the MC starts feeling fear. But he have no choice but to go inside because all the citizens of the city need to pay taxes starting from the age of 20, and failure to do so results in execution. Since he is a barbarian, it is impossible for him to find a normal job, and the labyrinth only opens once a month. So he has to go now, but his feet aren't moving because of fear. Then Aner gives him some encouragement, and also thanks him for helping earlier. After that, he gathers his composure and enters the labyrinth. However, instead of transported to the start area, he is transported to an area with complete darkness. Just as he took a few steps, a trap set by a cunning goblin snapped shut beneath his feet. Pain coursed through his body as he began to bleed profusely. The goblin, reveling in its victory, shadowed Bjorn's every move, eagerly awaiting his impending demise. Aware of the goblin's presence, Bjorn feigned weakness and collapsed to the ground, his breathing shallow. Seizing the opportunity, the goblin threw a rock at him, testing to see if he was truly dead. Confirming his suspicion, the goblin approached Bjorn. But Bjorn, despite his injuries, mustered his strength and launched a surprise attack. In a fierce struggle, he emerged victorious, and the goblin's body disappeared. Leaving behind a 9th grade magic stone, a highly coveted and valuable item in this world. Yet, its worth was equaled that of a mere piece of bread. Despite his victory, Bjorn's wounds continued to bleed profusely, posing a grave threat to his survival. Desperate for aid, he forced himself to keep moving, dragging his injured body across the unforgiving ground. Hour after grueling hour, he fought against the encroaching darkness, his resolve unwavering. The brink of death loomed near, but he refused to succumb. Finally, a glimmer of light pierced the darkness, signifying an exit from the treacherous depths. To his astonishment, a party of seasoned adventurers emerged before him. Seeing his dire condition, they stopped, their captain demanding the assistance of their healer. However, much to their dismay, the healer refused, unwilling to use her limited holy power on a stranger. Undeterred, the captain turned to another party member, asking him to give a healing potion. Reluctant due to its cost, the party member initially refused, but the captain, demonstrating his leadership, promised to repay the debt in due time. Relenting, the party member handed over the potion, and with careful precision, poured it onto Bjorn's injured leg. Unbeknownst to many, potions in this world inflicted a searing pain when used, making them impractical for use in the midst of battle. The healing process was arduous, but Bjorn endured the agony, his wounds slowly closing under the potion's influence. Grateful for their aid, the captain inquired how he had arrived before him. He wondered if there was a hidden shortcut he had missed. Bjorn, tell them what happened, after listening his explanation. The captain explained that such occurrences were exceptionally rare, happening only once or twice every 100 years. Bjorn couldn't help but reflect on his ill-fated luck. With their paths diverging, the party bid him farewell, and Bjorn resumed his exploration of the illuminated area. With a renewed sense of purpose, Bjorn ventured forth, his eyes scanning the surroundings for any signs of danger or opportunity. He knew that the light before him marked the beginning of a new chapter, brimming with challenges and untold treasures. Armed with his resilience, honed skills, Bjorn prepared to face whatever awaited him in this enigmatic realm. Little did he know that his journey had only just begun, and the trials ahead would test him in ways he could never have imagined.
After his near-death experience, he kept running into goblins. They keep coming. At first he was nervous, but after some time, goblins are no threat to him, and traps are randomly placed in the open. The only problems were food and water, because the food he got from the deputy chief was lost when he was crawling on the ground. Only 2 days' worth is left, and the chief did not give any water, so he has to find it in the labyrinth. So he starts searching, and after some time, he finds the water, but there was already someone else there, but he left himself. After that, he drinks water and started counting the magic stones he collected, and there were 44 stones, and now he started to feel tired and started to feel sleepy. There are 2 ways to sleep in the labyrinth. First, live your life in the god's hands and sleep, or second, find allies to protect each other. He tried the second option, but everyone got scared because of his looks and all the blood all over his body. Then suddenly, the man from before comes and asked him if he is looking for an overnight companion. After hearing that, MC got angry. Then he explained that he thought that they could take some sleep while protecting each other. Then MC understands that it was called an overnight companion, and he thought he was saying After that, he agrees, and they play rock, paper, scissors to determine who will sleep first, and MC lost. So the man gives MC a watch and asks him to wake him up after 2 hours. After 2 hours, MC wakes him up, and now it's his turn to sleep, but he can't believe in a stranger. So he pretends to sleep to see if that man does something, but he doesn't do anything. After 2 hours, they change turns again, but MC is frustrated because he didn't get a single minute of sleep, and he was so sleepy that his eyes closed, and MC falls asleep. Then suddenly, that man wakes him up. MC apologizes to him and offers him more time to sleep, but that man refuses. So MC takes his turn and starts sleeping. After some time, that man comes and attacks him with his hammer, but MC blocks it and says he knew that there is no one that kind in this world who forgives and does not take the offer to sleep. They fight, and MC defeats him, asking him why he didn't attack the first time he slept. That man answers that because he also needs sleep. Then MC asks why he attacked him, and the man answers that it's because of his stone, but MC doesn't believe him and attacks him again, asking once more. That man explains that it's because of his heart, and tells him that a barbarian's heart is used for new magical research and sold for a good price. After saying all of that, he starts begging to be let go. Everyone in this world thinks barbarians are stupid and naive. Most of it is true, but our MC is a human inside a barbarian. So he kills him and takes his items. He have many items, like potions. MC starts to think that after only a few hours since he came to this world, he killed someone, and only after killing a man, he is now living like a man. After that, he started to hunt again, and goblins started to come in pairs because it's the second day. But it's not a big problem for our MC. He hunts for 14 hours, but now he started to feel very tired and needs sleep. Because of the previous incident, this time he chose the first option and tried to sleep alone, hoping goblins won't come, but goblins keep coming. After some time, he just closed his eyes, but a goblin attacked him and just missed MC's neck because of height. After that, MC becomes frustrated and decided to find another barbarian, but instead, He meets many humans this time who want to become his overnight companion, maybe because this time he is looking good and didn't cover in blood. But he refused them all and told them that he is looking for another barbarian. Then one man tells him that it's going to be hard to find because most of the barbarians quickly go up to the second floor. Then MC realizes that it would be embarrassing for someone of their build to struggle on the first floor. So he starts to look for any race other than human to become an overnight companion, because every race has a special trait other than human. After some time of searching, he finds an elf. She was injured and afraid. Then MC goes there, and she instantly starts to beg him to let her live. Then MC tries to comfort her, but she gets more scared and says that even if he is a barbarian, let her live just once because she has a younger brother to take care of. Then MC starts to think about what barbarians do. So to make her let her guard down against him a little, he gives her some healing herbs and some bandages he got from the men from before, and asks her to treat her wound first while he stands guard. After she finishes treatment, he introduces himself, and she also tells her name, Erwin. Then he asks her why she is so afraid of him. She tells him that he is a barbarian, and barbarians and elves had a very big war in the past, and now they are hostile towards each other. She says she doesn't care about this, and asks him to let her go. MC didn't know about it. All he knows is that elves and barbarians have a good relationship, so he does not know which timeline this is compared to the game he plays. Then he tells her that he also doesn't care about it, and asks her to become his overnight companion. I know it sounds weird. After thinking for some time, she agrees, but asks him to make an oath on his warrior's honor that he will not harm her, and she also makes an oath in the name of her tribe. Then both make the oath to not harm each other. Then our MC decides to sleep first, and she agrees. So he gives her the pocket watch and asks her to handle it with care because it's expensive. At first he thought that he would pretend to sleep for 10 minutes, but he instantly falls asleep. Then after 2 hours she wakes him. Then he realizes that it's all because of the blanket and the bag, and if Hans, the man from before, lent it to him, he would definitely die there. So he decides to lend them to her, and just like that, they both take a few turns, and now there are only 10 minutes left before the last turn.
Then 2 men came there and asked Bjorn what his relationship with the elf was. He told them they were overnight companions. Then they asked how much time was remaining. After hearing that, Bjorn told them it was none of their business and that he was not obligated to tell them. He scared them away, and they left. After that, Bjorn tried to wake up Erwin, but she pretended to sleep. Bjorn forcefully woke her and asked why she was pretending to sleep. She answered that if she got up, he would leave her because their partnership would end as soon as she woke up, and he would leave her alone. Then Bjorn asked her what happened with those 2. She answered that she didn't know them, but they were probably from the same group called the Crystal Union as the human who tried to hurt her. After hearing that it was a whole group, he first thought of parting ways. But this beautiful elf was only 20 years old, and that was reason enough for a man of culture to help someone. So he decided to help her and asked for her full story before deciding. She got really happy and told him that she had met them on the first day inside the labyrinth as overnight companions. And when she was sleeping, she felt a gaze behind her. Only later did she find out that he was a manager of a clan doing business on the first floor, and somehow she managed to escape. Since then, they had been chasing her. Then Bjorn asked how they were able to chase her in the labyrinth. She told him that they were probably using message stones, which allow communication when synchronized prior to usage. Their range is up to about 300 meters. It was a device that didn't exist in the game, so he was a little shocked. Then Bjorn asked her why the members of the Union continued to chase her, when it didn't seem like she had done anything wrong. She told him that while escaping, she swung her knife around and accidentally cracked one of the assailant's ears. Bjorn felt bad for that man, and she was laughing while telling him all this. Suddenly, she felt someone following them from behind, about 150 meters away. It was an ability of elves they are born with, so they decided to increase their speed, but the distance between them didn't increase. Bjorn started to think about the risks he was taking and the benefits. Well, I think we all know the benefits of helping beautiful elf. So he asked her what she was good at. She gave a great answer fitting for the situation. She said that she was good at laundry and cleaning but bad at cooking. I just want to ask what is going on in her head at a moment like this. Everyone, what do you think? But just don't go overboard with it. Then he asked what she was good at during battle, that she was good at archery, and could also use spirit magic, specifically flame element. Flame element is actually the rarest element in this world. Then he asked her if she had killed anyone before. She answered that she hadn't, but she could do it. Then Bjorn asked seriously if she would like to become his comrade until they got out of the labyrinth. He would take 90s, and she would get 10. He didn't even finish his speech, but she instantly agreed without any hesitation. So Bjorn decided to get rid of the pursuer because the distance between them was getting shorter and shorter. He decided to enter a dark area where they waited for the pursuer. After he arrived and started searching for them. Bjorn ordered her to shoot the arrow. She was a little nervous, but she shot the arrow and got a headshot. MC sure was smart. He didn't kill the man himself. Erwin was in a little shock, so he gave her some encouragement and started looting the men. There, he found the message stone Erwin had been talking about. After that, Bjorn checked the loot he got from the man he just killed. He had a pouch of magic crystals, 2 daggers, 1 potion bottle from his waist belt, and the clothes he was wearing, a leather top and bottom. Bjorn sure was a scavenger, and I like this kind of Berbarian story. Then MC asked Erwin about how to use the message stone, and she told him that there was a button on the side. After Bjorn pressed it, a voice came from it, and there was someone giving everyone instructions and asking them to catch the elf and the barbarian with full instructions. He also placed a 10,000 gold bounty on their heads and asked everyone to gather at the goblin district, which was where Bjorn and Erwin were currently. After hearing that, Erwin got scared, but MC asked her not to be scared, and they moved up to the 2nd floor. After hearing that, she asked if they were really going to the 2nd floor by themselves, as there was a huge difference between the 1st and 2nd floors. Bjorn said he knew it and told her that they would just stay near the entrance, and they were also a good match. She got flustered after hearing that, but she still hesitated to go to the 2nd floor. Then, suddenly, a voice came from the message stone, saying that whoever found the elf first could enjoy her first on top of the 10,000 gold. Then another man's voice came, saying that if she was too resistant, could he cut off one of her arms and legs. Then that man asked if they should just leave the important part, and he asked if they all knew what he meant, right? After hearing all of that, she immediately agreed to go up to the 2nd floor. This makes Bjorn's work easy and saves his time. He always likes to help people in need when it is beneficial to him, of course. When a chance like this comes, of course, he will take it. After that, Erwin asks Mick about the path to the 2nd floor. Bjorn said that he doesn't know the specific path, but the dungeon is designed in such a way that if you keep following the darkness, you will reach a portal, since the darkness represents a path that leads you to the upper floors. Suddenly, Erwin stops Bjorn because there was a trap. After seeing the trap, Bjorn remembers the dark past and that he just walked a few steps before stepping on one, but they only appeared now after so late. Then he realizes how unlucky he was. Then Erwin asks Bjorn to let her handle it, and he should rest. Then Bjorn told her not to use spirit to save strength. With her clumsy look, you can understand what she is going to do. After that, she goes near the trap, and suddenly 2 goblins attack her, but she was ready in counter. Attacks them and kills the first goblin. Then the second goblin. Then the second goblin tries to attack her, but she quickly finishes him too. After that, she gives both stones to Bjorn according to the agreement of 9-1, and she seems very happy about it, saying there's something her younger sibling has been asking for. And if they keep progressing like this, she can earn a little bit too, right? After hearing that, Mick feels like she is trying to insult him. I also feel the same. But she's got a point there. Then a voice from the stone comes again, saying that they are raising the bounty on the elf to 20,000 gold dead or alive. After hearing that, Erwin gets scared again. Then Bjorn asks her not to worry and says there's no one who will search in the dark for them. And these bastards don't have the best teamwork. That's all he said to her. But inside his mind, he was thinking that it's suspicious, that all things are going too well. He was just thinking, but suddenly, Erwin shouts, "There are ghouls." After seeing them, Bjorn starts to think, how are the ghouls here? On the first floor, there are different monsters based on the direction you go, and ghouls are supposed to be in the south. They've come too far after roaming for so long, but actually, it's a good thing for Bjorn. Maybe you guys are thinking about what level Ma currently is, right? To know that first, I'll explain the experience awarding system for the dungeon in stone. You are only awarded for the first time you defeat a monster of the same species. But if they are from a different rank, you can also gain experience. For example, if you kill a goblin and a goblin chief, they are both considered different species, and you gain experience from both of them the first time you kill them. Meaning you need to defeat as many species as possible in order to level up, so Mick is just level 1. And by the way, a personal question, I'm also thinking of making a similar game, but in 3D, of course. So can you guys tell me which platform I should create it on? The mobile version will have lighter graphics compared to the CC version. Also, tell me all your ideas about gameplay and everything else. And if you guys want, I can make another channel where I'll share my progress on it. Now, let's get back to the story. Erwin said she will handle it alone, but denied it, asking her to cover from behind. After Bjorn comes within a certain range of ghouls, they attack him. And why is their hair like melting cream on top of a cake? Well then, the fight begins. And it was a piece of cake with Bjorn's power and Erwin's artillery. After that, they keep walking towards the north until the 3rd day. Then Erwin sees blood on the ground, and it was not Goblin's blood. After following the blood trail for some time, they find a sandal. And I think everyone knows about the dark past of Mech. After seeing that, the portal was less than 10 meters away from his starting point, and if only he had gone in the other direction. Just how much bad luck does he have? Because anyone who opens the portal first to the 2nd floor gets 2 experience points. And as I told you before, you can only earn experience points 1 time from the same species, so it's very hard to level up. But you can earn these experience points every time the labyrinth opens, and it becomes a kind of race. That's why the team who saved Bjorn on the first day asked him about it. Thinking about that makes him very angry, and seeing him like that, Erwin asks him if there's something she did wrong. Then he says it was not because of her. After that, she comes to a conclusion that Bjorn lost his barbarian comrade here, so she gives him some sympathy. Bjorn gets confused, but he decides to ignore it, and they go up to the 2nd floor, the Goblin Forest. But their landing is not a smooth one, for Bjorn, of course. Erwin lands perfectly. After Bjorn recovers from this unfortunate experience, they look around, and there is no living being in a 50-meter radius. The 2nd floor is different from the 1st floor. While the 1st floor is like an underground maze, the 2nd floor is an open forest, and there are 4 gates in 4 different directions on the 1st floor, and each gate leads to a different place. But you can go to the 3rd floor from any of them. Just tell me, what's with the ghouls? Others look good, but ghouls look like ice cream is melting on their heads. After that, Erwin asks Bjorn what to do now. He tells her that once the time is up, which is 168 hours for the 1st floor and 240 hours for the 2nd floor, the labyrinth spits the explorers back out into the city. So they will stay on the 2nd floor before the 168 hours are up, and then they go back to the 1st floor. But they can't just stay here by the portal all day, so they start to explore the nearby area a bit. Soon after some time, Erwin finds a trap, but Bjorn didn't see it. Then Erwin throws a rock at it to deactivate it, and then she asks for praise from Bjorn. But Bjorn just says that she is good at throwing rocks, and it was always her duty to find the traps. McSure is a Sigma. Let's talk about the 2nd floor a little. Traps on the second floor are different than the first floor. They are well hidden and are all over the floor, but there is no goblin watching over them. And other than traps, another difference is that the goblins go around in groups of about a dozen, sometimes with warriors or archers. And there are more high-ranking monsters the farther you go towards the exterior of the forest. Well, this is just the start of the story. We'll meet very soon with faster uploads than before.